Have you ever looked at political representation, maybe around the world, and wondered why some countries, even really small ones, have dramatically more women in power than others?
Hmm?
Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that. We're focusing on a really fascinating historical analysis of 4 European island states:
Hmm.
Iceland, Ireland, Cyprus, and Malta.
Yeah, and it's compelling stuff because it really digs into how their unique histories, their paths, impacted gender equality, specifically in politics.
Okay.
So our goal here, for you, is to explore what the study was trying to achieve, its objective, how they went about it, the method,
Right.
the results, which are quite surprising in places, and what we can actually take away from it all.
So the objective, it seems pretty clear they wanted to understand how these historical stories, the narratives or discourses, as they call them,
Yeah.
and the political sort of alliances, how they either helped women get into politics or, well, actively hindered them in the specific places.
Exactly. And the choice of countries wasn't random. Iceland, Ireland, Cyprus, Malta, they picked them because they share certain things. Colonial pasts, strong religious influences, and obviously being islands.
Makes sense. And the method, how did they compare them?
They used what's called comparative historical analysis. So basically looking across the four, comparing how culture, socioeconomics, political structures, how all that evolved over time.
Okay.
And they did this using existing research, official stats, secondary data, not like going out and doing brand new interviews. It lets you see the long game, the big trends.
Right, tracing the patterns. And when you look at those patterns, the results, they're pretty stark, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely striking. You've got Iceland and Ireland really standing out. Pioneers, you could say.
How so?
Well, Iceland seems to have achieved a decent level of female representation more organically over time, building that culture.
Okay, sort of naturally.
Whereas Ireland, they took a very direct step. They brought in legislative gender quotas back in 2012.
Ah, the quotas. I remember that.
And the impact was huge. By 2016, they saw female parliamentarians jump by 40%.
40%. That's massive in just 4 years.
It really is. It shows what targeted policy can achieve, But
Yeah.
then you look at Malta and Cyprus.
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting, or maybe depressing. Both former British colonies, like Ireland in some ways, but they are way behind. That 2018 Global Gender Gap Report, Iceland's first, Ireland ninth. Malta and Cyprus are down at 91st and 92nd.
It's a staggering difference.
So the big question is, why? Why such a gap between these small island nations?
The study points to, well, three main areas, really. First, culture.
Okay.
In Ireland, Cyprus, and Malta, you had strong religious traditions, Catholicism or Orthodox Christianity, and quite entrenched patriarchal views. This often sort of confined women more to the home, limiting their public presence.
Right, the domestic sphere idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Compare that to Lutheran Iceland, where historically women often had more authority, especially in rural areas.
Yeah.
It fostered a slightly different, maybe more egalitarian view.
So it's not just if there's religion, but how it interacts with culture and historical roles.
Precisely. Then there's the socio-economic side.
Ah, like jobs and money.
Yeah, specifically women in the workforce. Malta has the lowest female labor participation of the four, just over 42%. Iceland, it's way up at nearly 73%.
Wow. And less participation outside the home means fewer routes into politics?
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Fewer networks, maybe less confidence or perceived experience for political life. And then politically, even systems that should help, like proportional representation.
Which should help smaller parties and diverse candidates.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But you still get problems like party gatekeeping,
Yeah.
where established leaders control who gets on the ballot.
The old boys network effect.
And incumbency advantage, it's just harder to unseat someone who's already there.
Cyprus actually tried quotas, but apparently they weren't really implemented effectively, so they didn't have much impact.
Okay, so it's this mix of deep cultural roots, economic realities, and, well, political roadblocks. Given all that, what can we actually learn? What are the takeaways? Well, the big takeaway, I think, is what the research calls a democratic deficit.
Meaning?
Meaning, if half your population isn't properly represented in the halls of power, your democracy isn't really complete. It's lacking.
That makes sense.
And while changing deep cultural norms takes a long, long time, generations perhaps, the study suggests that tackling the electoral systems, the party structures, that's something more immediate. You can actually do something there.
So it implies we shouldn't just wait for culture to slowly shift on its own. We need active intervention.
Exactly that. Things like gender quotas, the Irish example, is powerful there. Or even practical things like making Parliament more family-friendly.
Hmm.
Policies that make it possible for more women to participate.
Right.
It's about actively knocking down those barriers, some visible, some maybe less so, instead of just hoping merit wins out in a system that isn't actually a level playing field to begin with.
Yeah, that really lands. Ultimately, knowledge like this shows that, societies that are truly inclusive, they benefit from all their talent, not just half of it.
Absolutely. And maybe for you listening, it's worth thinking about in your own world, your job, your community, maybe even your family. What are the unseen barriers?
Yeah.
What might be holding some people back?
Hmm.
And what small or big corrective steps could help unlock everyone's potential? Something to maybe mull over until our next deep dive.